Straight again for Tufui to push the kick down on the blind side. Beautifully taken in by Max Brito. He's the left wing three-quarter for the Côte d'Ivoire. And the first penalty of the game is awarded to the Ivory Coast, just inside their own 22. Good work by Max Brito, who came in as a replacement in the first match. And already we have an injury worry. And it may well be the man who took the ball in. Yes, it is. Number 11, Max Brito, taken in quite a heavy tackle. And they really have had terrible injury problems at this World Cup.
Yes, well, they've lost their two key players, and certainly that doesn't help when you're seated number 16th. But Tonga has also got some problems in that they changed their coach 6 weeks ago after a rather poor Super 10. If we have a look at their results in the Super 10, they lost to the Free State 15-12. They lost to Auckland 37-25, and they lost to Queensland 32-20. Then they had a horrible day at Christchurch, and they beaten 75-5 by Canterbury, and I think that precipitated the Tongan Rugby Union changing the coach.
Well, let's have a look and see if we can pick this up. It looked like a fairly regulation tackle, but Brito, well, he tried to lift his head up and took the full brunt of the Tongan pack as they came through, and he looks to be in considerable trouble, does Max Brito. And referee Don Reardon looks as though he's calling for the stretcher. So this is a sad blow for the Ivory Coast team in the very first couple of minutes of this game. Well, it could well be that Atanasi Dali may well come into the game. In fact, it's Terry Kuami who is coming onto the field. Well, they had about 3 or 4 players replaced in their previous match against France when they performed so well. Let's just see if we can pick it up again. Brito took it in quite strongly. Went down there as Afeaki made the tackle. Now look as he tries to lift his head, and the Tongan pack comes pouring in over the top.
Of interest for the Tongans, with the small number of players they've got in the islands, the Tongan Islands are a small group of islands in the South Pacific. They don't have a big economy, and many of their players have to leave to go to Australia and New Zealand to find jobs and to work. And with 10 players in this squad in Australia and 6 in New Zealand, the Tongan side has really had a fragmented build-up to the competition. Of interest, we've got players of Tongan descent who are currently playing for other countries in the World Cup. We have Willie Offengawe, who's playing for Australia. We have Jonah Lomo of Tonga descent, who's playing for New Zealand, and recently Manu has been called into the Australian side. So you can see the Tongan talent is spread far and wide, basically because of economic necessity.
So worrying time for Claude-Ami Azur, the Ivory Coast coach. He co-coaches with Dominique de Vanier. And a worrying time to lose Max Brito in the very first minute of the game. The players have to try and remain focused here, and they'll no doubt be distressed at what they see. Well, and Laurie, as a doctor of medicine, maybe you could explain to us the reason for this particular sort of stretcher.
Well, they seem to have mobilised his cervical spine, and certainly got a rigid stretcher, so there's obviously some damage to either cervical spine or somewhere down the spine, and that's a worry. He seems to have moved his feet, so I don't think there's a major problem there, but obviously he's in some degree of discomfort.
Always a distressing time when a player is stretchered from the field, and so Max Brito leaves the field. His replacement is out there, Thierry Kuami, and it rather knocks the stuffing out of the game early on. We've only been going for a couple of minutes, and we've had this lengthy hold-up.